I'm standing here right now with three people infinitely more talented than I am. We've got J.J. Watt from the Houston Texans, Drew Brees from the New Orleans Saints, and how about Marlon Mosey, our kid correspondent, who's been doing an unbelievable job all weekend. We're going to break down the Super Bowl right now, guys. We'll get right into it. You know, Carolina, Denver, and one of the big storylines we keep talking about are the quarterbacks. You've got Cam Newton from Carolina, talented, a little flamboyant, and of course, Peyton Manning, the Denver Broncos, kind of the vet, playing in his fourth Super Bowl. I'm going to ask you first, JJ, as a defensive player. Really, no one's been able to do it yet this year. How do you stop Cam Newton?
I think that's the million-dollar question. I think that Wade Phillips and his guys have a tough task on their hands, obviously, but having played for Wade and seeing the guys that he has on his defense with Von Miller, DeMarcus Ware, Aqib Talib, I think they're going to put together a great plan, but you're not going to stop Cam. All you can hope to do is slow him down and find a way to at least minimize his impact on the game.
What about you, Drew? You actually played against Peyton Manning in a Super Bowl a couple of years ago, and everyone's talking this year about how he doesn't have the same arm strength anymore. He's kind of falling off. But what have you seen from him, especially in the playoffs?
I think the last 3 weeks have really impressed me. I mean, Denver had a great team throughout the season. I felt like that defense played phenomenal throughout the season, but they seemed to have even a little bit more juice. Once he came back into the lineup, I think midway through that last game and then the run that they've made through the playoffs, he's playing extremely well. The run game looks great, and then obviously their defense is stout.
And JJ, one of the cool things about this Super Bowl is you got the #1 offense in the NFL,
right.
Carolina against the #1 defense in the NFL from Denver. So I'm going to ask you the question. In games like the Super Bowl, what wins championships, offense or defense, Drew? What's he going to say?
Well, I mean, I have to defer this to Drew because he has won a Super Bowl. So having Drew Brees having won a Super Bowl, I mean, of course he would say offense. But I think in this game there's two incredible defenses.
Yeah.
Everybody, you know, Denver has the #1 defense, but Carolina's defense is no slouch either with Luke Kuechly, Josh Norman, those guys. So for me as a defensive player, it's going to be a lot of fun to watch that battle.
And Drew, you won Super Bowl 44. Take us inside that locker room. What's it like? How do you handle all of the hype that surrounds this game? Because we're talking about it nonstop all week.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest challenge because it's not, as much as you tell yourself this is just another game, it's not. But everything from the pregame festivities to the 45-minute halftime to everything, like you have to find a way to kind of channel your energy and your emotions in and around all of that stuff, eliminate distractions, and then just get down to the game when it's time. But I think Denver's experience from 2 years ago is really going to serve them well. I think the team that's able to come out the most calm at the beginning of this game maybe gets a jump on things, and then the comfort level kind of sets in. I think Carolina's the most complete team in football right now, offense and defense. So I think you match those two things up, and it's going to be a
We
great
got to
game.
ask the real insider. I got to tell you guys, she's been at it all week long. She was interviewing Cam Newton and Peyton Manning and everybody all week. And so, you know, you've been the superstar. Is there a question? Because you asked the tough ones. Is there a question you've got for these two guys?
What's your prediction for the Super Bowl?
Oof.
Oh,
putting
you
you on
do
the
ask the
spot
tough
right away,
questions.
I
You
know.
do ask the tough questions. You know, I don't know. I honestly don't know how the game's going to go. But having played for Gary Kubiak and Wade Phillips and those guys on Denver's team, and knowing how much they've done for me in my career and the type of guys that they are, I do hope that they get a championship under their belts because I think they're great guys and they deserve it. So I kind of pull for those guys a little bit.
Drew, what do you think?
I have friends on both sides. I think as you're sitting back as a spectator, you're like, man, I'd love to see that guy get a ring. I'd love to see that guy get a ring. I feel like Carolina would win 8 out of 10. But
This could be one of the two you're saying.
Is this the one that Denver's able to pull out? Because the last 3 weeks have been different. You can feel it.
All right, Marlon, I'm really going to decide with you on this one because I know you've dissected this game top to bottom. Who are you picking and why?
Panthers, because like JJ said, they're both dynamic and the offense is good as well as the defense. They both click together, and I think that the defense can stop the Broncos offense with Peyton Manning, and they could do the same on offense.
You hear that? I'm going to Vegas. She says Panthers. I'm going to Vegas right now.
That's a
Nice
good
job,
assessment.
everybody.
That's a good
We're having a
assessment.
blast out here in San
Marlon.
Francisco.
Incredible
Let's send it back to you guys in New York.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let's just say we're just going to hire Marla.
I mean, she's great.
Come on.
I love how she doesn't give a politically correct answer. She just says
Goes
exactly
right
what
for
she
it,
thinks.
knows what she's talking about.
They come together, they're dynamic. I have no idea what you're talking about, but you sound very smart.
She knows what she's talking about.